My living experiment. Today is day 197. For those of you following along, thank you so much for joining me. Today, I'm going to be reading a essay I wrote this morning after kind of feeling a little frustrated and annoyed with stuff. So consider this a short screed essay of some sort. But also, you might notice I am downstairs in the studio I'm building out. So this is part of my library down here. I still need to sort my books. I need to figure out the lighting and all of that, but we are making slow progress. This is also going out on Restream. So in the spirit of trying new things, much like having to jump on here and do one of these every friggin' day for 197 days in a row. I am trying new things with the software, and so I am doing this on X, on Facebook, and on YouTube. All right, so this one is called A Mad Woman and the Machine. Once upon a time, say 1988, a younger version of me stood in a bar in San Francisco telling a room full of well meaning, cool t shirted software engineers that fluoride was poison, that the FDA was a captured agency, that Monsanto was not your friend, that the rule of law, if it was ever noble, had been hijacked by the rule of money, and maybe, just maybe, the fringe was simply a forecast. They laughed. Or worse, they proverbially patted me on the head and let it be known, we got this. Fast forward to 2010 in the Free State Project in the Free State of New Hampshire at an off the grid farm called Bardo, standing around a roaring bonfire on a crisp fall night, surrounded by the hills colored like candy corn. Dudes, they're manipulating the weather. Carla, someone said, circling a finger beside their temple, and her chemtrails. Ha ha ha. And so it went. In truth, the story of my life. Me, curious, skeptical, deeply read, offering breadcrumbs of truth while the men in my life followed the system deeper into the woods, a system they were trained to honor, to exalt, the writing down of things, the law, the data, the code, the algorithm. In a word, statism, that comforting lie that someone else is in charge and doing the right thing, that someone else has this, because outsourcing accountability is the machine's most magical of magic tricks. When no one is to blame for the problems they cause, bad things never get fixed. And while skeptics like me were watching and warning, the system teased, marginalized, and eventually gaslit me into submission, into silence. When skeptics became conspiracy theorists, the unaccountable won. Here's a twist I didn't see back then. The very system that once protected the men has now mutated into a machine that is devouring them too. The Borg has no loyalty, not even to its benefactors. It's gone full autopilot, an organism of fear built upon every memo, statute, executive order, risk assessment, modeling scenario, and the cover your ass directives ever etched in ink. It started innocently, maybe even divinely. Observation, record keeping, story. We named things. We admired and then charted the stars. We honored myth and cosmos. But then we got clever. And then we let our imaginations run wild. And then came entertainment, profit, and propaganda. And somewhere along the way, the written word stopped being a prayer and became a prison, a echoing manifestation engine, not of truth, but of fear. Warnings codified faster than wonders. Nightmares spread faster than dreams. And the universe, always listening, started echoing back exactly what we captured. And now we are drowning in our own ink. Silver iodide raining from the skies, thimerosal in baby bloodstreams, fluoride in formula, patents on the weather, copyright of your consciousness. A world so anxious about the future, it is poisoning the now. A world so anxious about the future, it is poisoning the now. And when I dared again to say this is madness, when I pointed to the mask mandates with their upside down logic, wear it here, not there, not when you eat, not when you breathe too hard, when I warned about the experimental injections, about informed consent, not Uncle Sam's mandates, when I spoke up about the spiritual sickness of government by safetyism, what did the men say? They said again that I was mad. It's always the same spell: gaslight, minimize, discredit. Accuse the woman of what the system is doing. Call the truth teller hysterical when the actual lunacy becomes law. And the hardest part, it wasn't the strangers, it was the men I trusted, my community of men, so many of them. Men who now watch other unhinged men, mad with dopamine addiction, step into my safe spaces, spaces I created, to scream in my face while telling me I need help, that I am the problem. I am not. I am the woman who sees. I am the woman who warned. I am the woman who knows not to condone the gaslighting, the minimizing, the discrediting, the lies designed to destroy my reputation. Not again. I remember when the feminine wasn't shamed for her knowing, when wisdom wasn't mocked for a lack of a peer reviewed source, when intuition was considered guidance, not a mental illness. I remember and I refuse to forget. So let me say it plainly before the machine writes it down wrong again. The system is unwell. The men who support the system are unwell. The women who support the system are unwell. United, they are building a hell on earth. We need medicine, real healing, no more toxicity masked as for your own good by your masters. The solution isn't to flip the polarity and let a new matriarchy wield an old whip. It's not domination we need, it's restoration, a cosmic rebalancing, a return to source. We need the masculine to listen and not performative allyship, not TED Talk applause, not I believe you while still investing in Pfizer. We need your reverence in return for ours. We need you to remember the feminine energy is not chaotic, it is creative. That madness isn't madness if it's the truth ahead of its time. That conscious creation begins with what we choose to speak, to write, and to believe. And that means we must start naming beauty again, naming hope, naming peace, writing down a new dream, one where we are free, one where we are whole. Because if the universe is echoing our thoughts, then let us be very, very careful what we think next. Whew, that was a busy morning for me. All right, people who know my writing know, this is my art project for the day. I hope there was some value for someone in that. as I was reading it out loud, I was like, oh, I could tweak here. I could do this. You know, maybe that's not entirely clear. But sometimes you just have to get the things in your heart out into the world. And so that was my gift to all of you today. Thanks for joining me. I will be back here again tomorrow, Thursday, for day 198. Today is Wednesday. It is a sweltering hot day here in the Free State, and I am going to head out and go give my chickens some snacks. Thanks for joining me, guys. I will see you all back here again tomorrow. Peace out.